Hey guys, what's going on? This is David Chin, and you're on season 4 of Pandanomics Podcast, New York Weekly's #1 podcast, and the #1 podcast in your hearts. Episode 1 is a little bit different this year because we did a combination of my voice of what's going on and my background, and then bringing on some very special guests. Today I have two guys who look exactly the same. I don't know if they're twins. They look pretty similar though. I don't know which one's better looking than the other one. They're both pretty good looking. Who's the better looking one? You're both pretty good looking. I love it.
One's got a bigger beard.
But Adam and Phillip Fuentes, two friends of mine who recently came from one of the biggest hits in the world, Netflix's Squid Games, 442 and 443. Welcome, guys. How you guys doing today?
What's up, David, man? Long time no see. How you doing, big dog?
Good, man. The last time we were together, we were wrestling with Sin Oro, body slamming people, flipping around down in the gym. Remember?
Yes, bro. That was epic, man. That was a good time. I missed that a little bit. So you guys got the end of that one. Yeah, I actually got in the ring.
You did miss that one.
Yeah. The dude picked me up and body slammed up the back. I saw that.
Dude, I was like 290 at that point too, and like there was this guy who maybe like $160, and he like picked me up. And you remember he held me, and he held me with so much disrespect that I wanted my balls to stink, and he threw me on the floor. And then Cicada jumps off and does a moonsault, and then lands on me, hits me, and then I have to do the cell like.
I remember when the dude was doing he was doing the slaps.
I
saw the slaps. Yeah, that was intense.
Oh,
hey, it's real. Wrestling's real. That's crazy.
No, dude, wrestling is a man's sport. It is crazy. It's one of my favorite things. So speaking of, I heard that when you guys were 15 or so, you guys used to do this backyard, brawl. You guys do wrestling with PJ. You guys go against each other, do some table ladders. Tell me about your guys' background first, and how you guys got into the fitness industry with your amazing gym, and then how that translated into what you guys do at Netflix.
Yeah, man. So growing up, a lot of people, what they don't know is my dad and my grandma are a freak of nature, man. Like, my grandma's 80 years old right now, and she'll bust out 15, 20 pull-ups and deadlift 135. So we kind of just grew up around it, our whole lives. And it just became a lifestyle at that point. It's a lifestyle for us. So you don't even think about it as anything else. It's just you wake up, you go to the gym. And, my dad instilled that early. And if you were to see him now, he still looks like a freak of nature. 62 years old. He's probably in better shape than most people I know right now. Yeah, it's crazy. Facts.
Dude, your grandma sounds like she's in better shape than most people I know too, including myself. If you can do 15 of those, she's a baddie, man. She's a baddie.
A month.
I know, one arm and stuff. You guys gotta record this stuff, man.
I got videos of her doing it with one arm, man.
That's insane. Where do you think this installation of discipline and working out comes from? Like, when we were growing up, it was like if you worked out, it was part of sports, and then it was the after hours stuff. But I felt like when I was growing up, that was when like sports and sports sciences really started kicking in. People really cared about long-term health and going from there. And you see it as part of your culture, right? As a family culture, and then now it's instilled in you. And your sister, I know, is also a very athletic, amazing trainer with your guys' gym. So is that how, when you guys saw that, was it the core development of what you guys learned as a family to then start your own gym? And is that what it meant to you, or how'd you guys do that?
Yeah, man. So, I mean, like you said, I think it's just instilled in you like at a young age. I mean, we've been doing this since we can start picking up weights. So from my sister to my older brother to everybody in between, I mean, it's been a lifestyle. Like our whole family's full of studs that do sports and stuff, like all the way to our cousins, man. So it's been just a generational thing for sure. Breaded athletes for sure. So, I mean, we just kind of rolled with it. We just try to make it as big as possible.
It's amazing because in Texas, I'm from El Paso, you're from Del Rio, to do the things that you've done, to get to the stage where you guys are on TV and people are walking by and going, I know you guys, because y'all some big G's down there in Del Rio, and I know this. Yeah. Tell me how it feels, man, because it's got to be kind of a trip. And then tell me, like, just for the small time mentality, you're at the gym, you're doing it. Tell me how it feels and the reaction that you're getting right now on the show.
Yeah, man. So definitely being from a small town, they see the post, they see it, and maybe they haven't even seen the show, but they see that you're on Netflix, man, and people freak out about that, of course. If you've seen the show, you see us in there. There's 456 people, by the way, so you do see rare glimpses of us. We're not main characters by any point in there, but just being on the show in general, man, it's kind of a fun thing being in a small town and seeing the reactions of people. Like, I mean, even just owning a gym for us, like, that right there, let alone, I mean, everybody knows who we are. I mean,
Right.
we're the twins that have the gym. So we walk past people already saying hi. I can't go anywhere without knowing at least 2 to 3 people. So being on this show
it.
kind of just amplified that to a whole nother level.
Times
So
10.
it's insane right now.
When you went on the show, like, tell me how you guys got on the show, because I've been watching, watching Squid Games when it first came out, and watching some of the highlights and playing on Roblox, and then watching it happen when on places. Tell me how you guys kind of got in this process and why you thought Squid Games was good for you guys.
Well, just us being twins, man. I think
For sure.
that helps us out with so many things in life already. It's kind of a cheat code for a lot of things I like to say. Getting up girls, even, I'm just gonna throw that out there too right now. I mean, it's a cheat code. I mean, maybe not for him because he's kind of booed up.
I'm not the game.
But it helps with a lot of things. And so when we finally, got our audition, they were like, yo, from that point on, it was all audition tapes together. And they kind of wanted to play this whole twin thing with us, which it worked out. It's crazy because he actually applied for this, man. I mean, we already had kind of connections telling us to go for this, but he did this without even telling me. So I had no idea.
I was going to let him know. I let you know. That's how you found out.
Yeah, you let me know after you started getting calls about it, which is crazy. So
And
I ended up
it worked out.
It worked. So I ended up putting mine in. They found out, like you said, we were twins. And they're like, let's push this forward. You guys are twins. This will be great for the show. And here we are.
Dude, so here he starts up. He sets something up, doesn't tell you. Was that a lot like your childhood? How did you feel when that happened? Tell me about this.
So in my head, it's going back to the twin competitive nature type thing right there. It's like, we always got to try to one up each other. So this motherfucker is trying to get on the...
To be honest, I was going to keep it as low-key as possible. Even if I got on the show, I wasn't going to tell anybody. But the excitement got the best of me, man. I had to let them know. And I'm glad I did, because going in there with that support system makes a huge difference, because you're isolated from everybody and everything.
The craziest experience, hands down, that either of us have ever been in, for sure.
I heard that there were points in the scene that you guys had to sit there and be like, for like hours on end and then go. Is that true? Like, tell me some of the crazy stuff that happened. I look on your face and you guys are like, some crazy ass shit happened. Like, what are we talking about?
So, first game, man, obviously we have no idea what we're getting ourselves into. We walk into this big-ass hangar, and it's red light, green light for the people that have seen the show. Well, in the show, when you guys watch this, it only shows 5 minutes. So, you guys only see what they're showing. Not even happening it had no idea to happen like that. I mean, the hardest thing I ever did in my life, hands down.
So you would go, and you would stop, and you would have to stand still for about 40 minutes sometimes. There was points when people would call a medic because people are passing out, they're locking their knees. Mind you, this is in 10-degree weather, so some people are suffering from hypothermia and nerve damage. There's all these claims in that. But yeah, man, standing still for 40 minutes at a time, no bathroom breaks, is tough.
I think, me personally, from what I saw 8 people pass out. And that's just from my direct point of view right here.
Dude, I passed out standing up, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah,
I could have fallen in.
It was tough. And like I said, I mean, 30, 45 minutes at a time, you're just still, and you're just hearing people popping left and right.
It's
so
nuts.
It's wild.
But you got 10-year-olds there and 80-year-olds there, and they're all doing this for that many hours?
Yeah, you would think. And so that's why I tell people, man, anybody who got past red light, green light, I respect them at another level, because we had D1 athletes that got eliminated in red light, green light. We had military personnel who got eliminated in red light, green light, and I'd say it was just as much mental as it was physical.
Oh, for sure. You had literally to tap into something different, because I mean, your hands are numb, your feet are numb, you can't feel anything.
Yeah, so respect to the older gentlemen and women that passed that
anybody
game.
Who passed that game. Yeah, anybody who passed that game killed it, because like I said, the hardest thing I've ever done in my life.
You're running through, fucking freezing, right? You think it's what I think it is, right? Simple, dun dun dun, and then pause, right? Yeah. So first play has to be first one trying to be funny, always, because camera, right? And that's when you pay for it, right?
Exactly.
So the guys are paused for 40 minutes, 1 foot up in the air type of shit. They're pausing. Tell me about the mental state going into the 35th, 37th, 39th, 40 minute when people are dropping. And you got each other you two guys got each other to cheer each other on.
Yeah.
Tell me about this mental state and how that happened.
Which is, crazy, because I got a little bit further than this guy, so I was ahead of him.
And in my head, the whole time in this game, I'm like, man, I'm hoping he's making it. I'm hoping he's still alive. I hope he hasn't gotten popped. So in my head, it's like, I have to win this for him in case he's already dead. He might be dead behind me right now, and I have no idea. There's one point actually in there where we're pausing, and I'm over here screaming. I'm like, 4-4-3, are you good? 4-4-3, are you good?
I'm
and
zoned in.
Everybody's just so tapped in, you can't hear anything. But in my head, I'm like, I got to win this game. I'm mentally strong right now. I got to push through and prevail because I don't know if he's still with me or not.
So when you find out, you cross, you turn, you see brother, right? Now you see people dropping. How long of time are we talking about torture now in your head? Because now it's not like it was 5 minutes later, right?
Yeah.
Like, how much long until you're like, dude, is my brother going to make it or not?
Yeah. So I finished like right behind him.
Yeah.
So we finished, I think, at the same song, right?
We finished in the exact same song. He was just maybe 10 to 15 feet behind me.
Yeah. So that last sprint I'm running, but the entire game was a total of maybe
it was like
7 hours for us.
7 to 8 hours for us. Yeah.
Yeah, man. It was a long experience.
Game's over. What happens? You guys get to go home, sleep. Tell us the next thing, because for us who haven't been in this world, what's the next step?
Yeah.
They isolate you? What happened?
So, like you said, man, I mean, we're in this game for 8 hours. We haven't taken a piss. We haven't got to use the restroom. We haven't eaten. We're starving at this point, man. We're hurting. We're starving. They take us back to the hotel for this night. And this is kind of where they're getting everything situated. But like you said, we haven't gotten food, man. So we're going the whole night with nothing in our stomachs. We just played this game for 8 9 hours. We're sweating. We're hurting. Bones are aching. My feet are actually numb at this point still. I mean, it was a rough night for sure. That was probably one of the roughest nights.
So after that, we're at the hotel, and nobody's getting food. You wake up in the morning because they wake us up. I think it was like at 2 a.m. at that point to get on the bus to get ready to head to the actual dorms. And they don't let you know, but we had like cold McDonald's hamburgers in front of our door that we didn't even eat at that point, right?
I ate mine, bro. It was like a rock. And I still grabbed this thing. I was like, fuck it, I got to get something in my stomach.
I wish I did. But at that point, after that, it was a shift in the mindset because you're like, okay, this is getting real. We just played a 7.5 hour game. Who knows what's going to come next?
What's next? Yeah.
So it's a mental shift for sure from the game to like, all right, game phase. Let's see what's next.
So you guys sitting there chilling. You guys are with each other, talking to each other. Day 2 happens, right? Now you got all these people around there. What happens in day 2, and when do the politics start coming in?
So day 2 is when we officially enter the dorms, right? It's what you see. You go in, you see the bunk beds everywhere, and the first order of business is claiming your bed. And we bunk up right next to each other. Yeah. This guy wanted to get like this 6-tier bunk bed. I don't even think you got that right.
No, I wanted to be high as hell though. Yeah. You don't know what's gonna happen. You see the show and you're like, damn, there got stuff going on at night. Yeah. Like, you don't know what's gonna go on through there.
So as soon as you're in there, we're probably at that point you're just kind of getting acquainted with everybody and getting acclimated to the environment.
Possibly maybe trying to make some alliances because I mean, this is a challenge at this point. I mean, it's worth $4.5 million. So we need to try to go as far as we can, make the right connections, and maybe possibly stay a little bit low key so we don't paint a big target on their back. I mean, we're twins, so right out the gate when we get into this show, that's a big target in itself, right there.
Yeah, you see 2 people basically on the team, man. And,
exactly.
You try to be friends with as many people as possible because you don't want to see them as that threat.
I love how that works, right? They're walking around, they're like, I know you. Wait a minute, I just spoke to you. And you're like, that's what we right? So tell me, man.
People were coming up to us left and right. Like, I literally just saw your ass.
You're like, this is the Matrix. You're like, don't tell anybody. Dude, don't tell anybody.
Right.
Dude,
keep it low key.
When that works, you talked about earlier how it comes to your bench. Tell me, like, a part where when you're doing this and you guys are doing this game, how it really helped you with the advantage of having a twin there. And kind of the mind games you were playing against, because you guys are kids, so you guys know how to like mess with people just a little bit where it's not too obvious, right? Tell me how you guys did that, because I'd love to hear this.
Well, I mean, so like you said, we had a couple different ideas. One of the ideas was we were going to kind of split apart completely and not let other people know we're twins. But from the jump, we're like, you know what? We are a strong alliance. Maybe people want to kind of rally around us a little bit. So honestly, we stuck together as much as possible. We're like, you know what? We're going to stick next to each other, and maybe people are going to want to group up with us a little bit. But
and it worked. It worked for a while, man. We had a strong group of people around us in the beginning. So the playing jokes on stuff and like that, we didn't play that game as much as maybe we should have.
We definitely should have, for sure.
But
hindsight, but at this point, we're like, it's a challenge. We're trying to win this thing. So what can we do to win?
Right.
Right. As you had your group on there, tell me about the next challenge you guys had and the difficulties of it and where your mindset was going into and going out of it. Oh God, is it that hard? Because both of you at the same time were like this. Oh
Look,
man,
yeah,
tell us
this
the story.
this is the one that hurts.
This is where it gets real right here.
So at this point, we assume we're playing all the games from the original Squid Game. So we assume Doggone next, which is the honeycomb game where you have to carve out the cookie. So we walk into this huge room, huge white Willy Wonka looking room, man, and there's 4 lines. And we're in line 2, which ends up being triangle.
Both of us in line 2.
Both of us in line 2, and you have 2 minutes to pick a line before, you're eliminated or whatever. And, down to the last 30 seconds, I tell him, hey, man, I think this is where we split up. I think I should go to line 4. Just in case we both do get umbrella, we don't know what spin there's going to be. And
it's almost basically like for sure, like trying to keep a dog in the fight, basically, is what
exactly.
we're trying to
If we both got umbrella, I think we're both screwed. So that's when we separated, and I had the misfortune of getting umbrella. Damn.
Yeah.
I heard about this umbrella. The legend made it all the way to Vegas. And the umbrella is crazy, right? He goes,
man.
He was like, you got the fucking umbrella. Like, you got the fucking umbrella. The umbrella out of all the ones. When you get the umbrella,
The worst one.
What did you get?
So I got triangle. Immediately when we figure out the shapes, I look back to this guy. I'm putting my hands up. I'm like, fuck,
And
dude.
at that point, I don't even want to hear it. It's like, I feel like he's almost like, oh, I told you so. But I'm like, man, like, it is what it is.
He's like, what the fuck? He's
I
like,
gotta
how the
zone
fuck
in.
was I supposed to know?
Yeah.
I'm like, all right,
Did
man, calm down.
anybody
At this point, we
actually
still have a
win?
chance.
Well, did anyone actually win the umbrella side of it?
Okay, so, and there's a few conspiracies out there. There's a few conspiracies
Let's
out
hear
there.
about
So there were people for sure that got through the umbrella. There wasn't very many, I think.
No, not at all. There's less than 10, I believe.
Less
that
than
made
10. But there's conspiracies of certain players who actually broke their cookie, but because of their personality on the TV, got pushed forward. Right. I wasn't one of those people, unfortunately.
Tough break,
What's that?
buddy. Tough break.
Oh,
He wasn't one of
people
them,
tough break,
unfortunately.
right?
So he caught the L. Yeah. You were close, though. Everybody that I met that came back from umbrella was like, your brother's almost there. He made it. So triangle went first. We're back in the dorms. And I'm just staring at this door, man. And I'm just waiting for my brother to walk back in. And it's going one after the other. And I never see him come back. I'm just like, like a knife to the heart.
So as you're, oh my God, this kid's, yeah, he was like, I can't wait for him to come in. I love him. I love him. I love him. I love him. And then it was
Exactly.
like, are you sure?
Sorry,
Right?
good.
When you're carving this out, the part when you're carving it, tell us was there a secret that you should have done, or was it just the way it is, or what was it that like made it crack? Tell me.
So I think I had the perfect strategy going in. And it's the strategy that most people use, which was accumulate as much saliva as you can, take the cookie out, spit all your saliva into the tin, and then let your cookie sit on there and kind of just marinate in your spit, as gross as that sounds.
Oh, you didn't lick the cookie?
I did after a while. So then,
licking motherfucker over here.
And then, you're carving it. It's starting to break apart. What got me was the time. I think I wanted to be so sure that it was moist enough to break apart that I waited for like the last 5 seconds to actually try to separate it. And in doing so, I think I rushed it at the end, and I broke it at the very last second on the stem. I actually got excited. I felt like it was all coming together so nicely. And then at the very end, I was all buzzer beater. Did not make it.
So now
that was the last time I saw my brother. I didn't see him at any point after that.
Yeah, after that, you're gone. That's it.
So they ship you out. You're gone. You missed that one spot. And now you guys are separated, but you're channeling the inner twin power. Is there like a switch in between, tag team switch coming in, out, none of that stuff? What are you doing now when you're on your own? Like, tell me the thought. And the door closes. What are you thinking at this point?
Yeah, so, I mean, going into the game, it was like, all right, this is cool. We get to meet new people. We get to make some connections, meet people from all around the world, and play this game. I mean, this is going to be fun. Once my brother got eliminated, it flipped a switch for sure. I mean, at this point, it's a fucking challenge now. Like, I'm going to win this money. I'm winning it for me and my brother. Forget the friends. I'm coming to compete. Like, I'm ready to win at this point.
So what was the next thing that you had to do?
So in the games, you got like eliminations going on between the actual games. So at this point, you're just trying to stay alive. You're hoping you're not getting eliminated. There's a few occasions where, I mean, I'm kind of laying low at this point, so I feel like I didn't make enough connections. So I'm like, damn, maybe I do have a target painted on my back.
Which was smart at that point too, because it's you, and we've talked about it. There's two games you're playing in there. There's the game of being loud to be on TV, and then there's the game of people who actually want to try and win this money, which is where we were at. And the louder you are, the bigger target you paint on your back for a possible elimination.
So you're almost a damned if you do, damned if you don't scenario, right? Because obviously you want to be on TV to show your brand and what you're trying to do, because that's why you're going on TV. You have your own businesses, you have your own families, you have everything you have to do. You're taking a pause in life to follow a dream, right? And to the entertainment. And at the other sense, the loudest guy in the room gets capped, right? So it's one of those like catch-22s. So now going into it, now you're alone and you have the other games. Tell me when you say the other games, what are we talking about? We're talking about what are the other games that are there? Are they mind games? Are these guys messing with each other? Like, is that what we're talking about?
Yeah, so like when you're in the dorms, people are doing chores. They're bringing phones out for people to answer, and just little tiny things that they're trying to get you to do to mess with your head. I mean, man, this game was rough. I mean, we're getting maybe 3 hours of sleep a night. I'm getting maybe 600 calories a day. They're making it as hard as possible to try to win this money. So you're at the same time, you're trying to stay sane. You're trying to stay aware. I mean, you don't know what's going to happen next. I mean, it's so immersive. There's no clocks. You have no phone.
Yeah.
I didn't see the sunlight for upwards of 3 weeks.
Yeah, so just aside from the games, just the atmosphere alone is breaking people. People are leaving the game just because they can't handle, being there in that environment. But like you said, there was other things in there. They had the phone.
They had the phone, which was an elimination. They had a button for us to press. I'm sorry?
What does the phone mean?
So they literally rung out a phone into the middle of the dorm. And nobody knew what was happening. I mean, this phone was out there for hours. And then all of a sudden it rings. So somebody answers it. And like I said, we're starving at this point, man. We're eating maybe 600 calories a day. The person that answers the phone gets pizza. So at this point, everybody's like, okay, we got to get some food now. We got to get some food. It rings again, and then this guy gets a burger. And you see it in the show, man. This guy gets a burger and fries, and people are going crazy on him. It's like an animal pack just going at the fries, at the burger. So it's getting cutthroat at this point. And then at the last ring, so the third time, it's the same guy that gets the burger, man. So this guy's getting trigger happy with the phone. He answers it. And on the other line, you don't hear it, or we don't hear it. You hear it in the show. But he needs to grab another player to answer the phone, or he gets eliminated.
So you had to convince somebody at that point. And at that point, he had already shown his cards because his face was all over the place then. But
so he ends up getting cut. He gets eliminated immediately for just trying to answer that phone as much as possible. But that's just one of the few games that are in there. So, I mean, it gets crazy. And this is before the actual challenges, too.
So they're really testing and trying to figure out your character the whole entire time. Almost very much like a video game where you're trying to figure out that, right? Going from there. They're controlling you. Now, you're 3 weeks in with no sunlight, right? Now, how long has it been since you two haven't seen each other at that point? Is that a week or 2 weeks?
At this point, once we're in the dorm like that, it's probably been about maybe a week.
Close to a week.
Close to a week, yeah.
So a week,
and every day I'm like, he's probably thinking.
Now, what is he thinking? Tell me what you're going to say.
Oh, I'm saying, like, so I'm in there for so long, and, like, so how it goes usually when we were in there was it was a game, then it was an elimination, then it was a game, and then it was an elimination. Once he left, there was days where we didn't do anything but just play elimination games. So this guy's probably thinking in his head that I probably made it pretty far.
I would tell PJ when I would see you, I went to PJ's house after this, and I'd be like, man, he's for sure like top 10. He has to be. He's been gone for so long. Little did I know they weren't even playing games for days. At that point, they're just trying to drive.
Just literally trying to break us at that point.
The breaking thing is probably the premise of the game. When people started figuring it out, did you see people start doing meditating, praying? What did they start doing to keep their sanity? What did you keep? Did you keep your sanity for those 2-3 weeks?
Yeah,
what did you guys do?
There was a doctor. Yeah, man, there was actually a doctor in there, and he like specialized in like meditation. He'd rally some people around, and they would do like breathing work. We would exercise a little bit, but you'd have to conserve your energy as much as possible. I was fine. I feel like I'm mentally strong to begin with. So when it comes to this, um, literally the only thing that kept me sane was just I'm trying to win this money. Like I'm getting closer and closer each day to $4.5 million, and that's the name of
So
the
as you
game.
got there, no, I mean, it's crazy because you don't get to see that side of the business where they're trying to eliminate. And so when you do see people disappear, like, well, what happened to that guy? What happened to that number? Where did they go? Right? Because you start picking your favorites on a show like that, and you know like so
Exactly.
many people. You know, and so as you're doing that challenge and as for that, man, I couldn't even imagine sitting there for 3 weeks, dude. I can't imagine people farting and people being annoying and people snoring.
Oh my god,
dude, I can't even do it with
Oh.
my dog. I'm like, shut up, dude. Tell me, like 3 weeks though, hundreds of people.
Man, I'm such a light sleeper, bro. So when I'm going to sleep, like I said, I'm getting maybe 3 hours of sleep a night. There's hundreds of people in this dorm, and all you hear is snoring
on
surrounding,
another level of
above
snoring.
you, to your right, to your left, underneath you. It's so tough, man.
How did? Oh my god, dude. When I was in college,
Oh, it
I
was so
remember,
brutal.
like, dude, I would throw pillows at people like in the middle of the night. Like we were like they were like just chucking at them, and one of my boys had like
Yeah.
just had
Shut the
like
hell
literally
up.
10 pillows around. I was like, shut up, right? Oh
Yeah.
my god. So tell me what when it came down to you, what did you do that ended up getting you eliminated on that show?
So, I mean, we got through, once you get through Dalgona, the cookie challenge, you got the eliminations. There's Battleship, which is Warship.
Don't get copyrighted.
It's war. So you play a big
Don't get
arena in
copyrighted.
Warship.
Yeah.
They literally were telling me, like, you can't say Battleship. You can't do it. Which was one that I had no control over myself. I mean, shout out to my Captain B. She killed it. After that, we had a couple more eliminations. And then we had a picnic. And in this picnic, man, you have to choose a pair. And whoever you paired up with is who you end up playing marbles with, which was somebody I wasn't really too close with. I kind of got to know him a little bit, but I didn't know he was a hooper, man. I thought he was going to get this dub easily. But he ended up whooping my ass in marbles, and that's how I got eliminated. Which
In
they don't show,
marble?
unfortunately. Yes.
Mm.
What did they do with the marble side? Tell me how they whipped you. Like what was the premise of the marble?
You get 10 marbles each. You have to create a game yourself. So you guys have to agree on a game. And we decided to do a shootout, which in my head, I'm a hooper. I'm pretty good at beer pong. I played it a couple times in my life. So I'm like, I got this. This is going to be easy. And it's a best 2 out of 3. This guy dogs me in the first game. Completely obliterates me. We ended up actually tying the next 3 games, which are actually pretty good games. And then he ended up winning the last game. And I'm actually, you know what? It's a good and bad thing they didn't show it because I kind of let my emotions get the best of me. I ended up even like punching a wall, knuckles bloody. I just see the camera zooming in. I'm like, oh god, this is gonna be on national TV. This is gonna suck. But thankfully they didn't show that part, which is cool.
That would have been great.
Yeah, I
That
mean,
would have been great for TV. But
dude, you know, I remember growing up and reading a lot of psychological things. Psychology was my favorite classes. And I remember reading settings where they did an experiment where they had guys from prison and they had guys from that were there were a bunch of people that pretended they were in prison. The other people pretended that they were actually wardens and they just left them there. And this case study ended up by the end of it, they actually had that hierarchy based off the discussion, the premise, right? So my thought has always been the area that you're in, the condition creates the outcome of the individual, right? We talk about nurture versus nature. We talk about, like, I always admire PJ's relationship with his dad. I'm like, dude, that's what I aspire to do, right? To be like Lucky Teeth and PJ. Like, that's the most amazing relationship I've ever seen. When I look at people and they're surrounding you guys in this area of basically trying to break you, you two have something that I like to consider a Texas boy mentality, which means I ain't fucking around. I'm gonna make this work. Right? Yeah. And you go into going from there. When you were about to break, and this is for both of you, right? Where was the Goggins? Tell me how you pulled in the inner spirit, the guy that is, and going out and going from there, because mindset is so important. People are so weak when things happen, right? But something like that, like how did you dig in deep and how did you put your mindset to doing that so that you could achieve the goals that you wanted to achieve?
Yeah, man, and I can even go back to red light, green light. You know, when you're standing there, you know, for 40 minutes in the freezing cold, I think both of our mentality was, and I kept saying it over and over in my head, like, you basically manifested. Like, there's no way I'm dying on this.
Yeah.
You know, I'm completely in control of this one. You know, like, this is me. I can't like let my emotions get the best of me. There's people dying. You hear the popping, so you're trying not to flinch. But it's man, you said it best. I feel like it's a Texas, and a family mentality that we kind of grew up
I was
with.
going to say that too. I think it comes a lot from the family, or our family as well. I mean, we dig deep. I'm playing this game not just for me. I'm playing it for my family. Obviously, we all want to win this challenge. Everybody in there is going there to win $4.5 million. It's just who's strong enough to get to that point. And I think us actually being twins too. I think that competitive nature with us too.
It's like,
I think that's helped us for so long, man. That just pushes us to another level.
Can't let one beat the other and something.
Exactly.
And it's nonstop. It's to this day.
But the support and the love is so real and honest. Like, you can see it, And like, I was always a kid who was like, man, I always wish I had a twin, right? And going from there, and you guys are twins, and I can see this love that is so authentic and real and different. And I love how you said earlier about the manifestation and telling yourself that there was no way that you were going to die at that moment or to quit at that moment because, quite frankly, you're in control of yourself, right? And then you have your counterpart, right? Your literal mirror that you're both reading each other on. What a blessing to have that, man! Like, I couldn't imagine how amazing and phenomenal that experience is. But your whole lives to share with someone that is so integrated with you, and so when I talk about the twin thing, like, what did you guys learn from yourselves? Like, seriously, like, deep down inside, that was different, that you never knew about yourself coming out of this game?
Man, I talked about this on another podcast too, and it's real, man. You put yourself through hell in this game, and it literally shows you that you are so much stronger mentally than you give yourself credit for. And that goes for everybody. You just need to get yourself to that point to see where you're at. But everybody has it in them. It just takes a certain point to actually bring it out of you.
There's a threshold I think everybody has, and I think everybody has at least the opportunity to go past that threshold and do it. Some people get scared, man, and they get nervous when things like that happen. And we've always had that competition instilled in us to kind of push through that. So
just break us out of our comfort zone, and
grateful for that, for sure.
Yeah, man, I think you said it, man. I think, especially when coming from smaller towns, like most people who listen, to shows, and I was from big cities, we go to big cities because we want to do more, right? But we still love our city. Like, there is a small town restriction, like, there's not a lot of guys like us who are going to have the huevo rancheros who go out and put themselves out there because you just don't want to embarrass yourself. You don't want to embarrass your family. You don't want to embarrass your grandma, right? You don't want to embarrass nobody, right? And we're so young men who our emotions are always going to be consistently there. But the cool part is, especially you two, you have a lot of self-regulation. You're like, man, I shouldn't have done that. I know I should do this. To me, the growth in a man and the spirit of a human being is to be able to recognize those things and grow and make it huge. And clearly, you two have hit that. Like, as you're seeing what's going on right now in the world, and you see more of these, of all the issues that are happening, and you talked about manifestation and your mental health and your strength. Do you feel that right now in society, a big reason that people are having these issues is because they just don't love themselves and they don't have the ability to find that love in themselves? And if they don't, you guys as trainers, right? You guys have health, it's mental and physical. What advice could you give them to get to that level so they can just start?
I'd say this, man. I think, certain people grow up with certain issues. There comes a point when you have to take kind of control of your own, future and
not make excuses.
Make excuses, man. And I would say, put yourself out there more too. Put yourself in more uncomfortable situations like that and grow from that. That's how we grow. There's so many things that we've done just recently that kind of get you out of your comfort zone. And I think that's the biggest thing. Honestly, I think that's how you grow.
For sure. I think in like today's society too, it's such a yes culture. Like it's so comforting. There's so much like of a comfort around you. And it honestly, I think it softens people up a little bit too. I think maybe we need to be a little bit harder on people sometimes and just kind of push them a little bit harder as well too, because it takes that to get out of that comfort zone and push yourself a little bit further in life.
And even with our clients, like we have, you have certain individuals that, again, that threshold, as soon as they feel a little pain or burn, they stop.
Yeah.
And it's our job to kind of try to push them through that. But there's some people that as soon as you feel it, that fear kicks in, man. And then there's others who they feel that and they kind of thrive off of it and want to keep going. So it's cool to see when you see certain individuals push through that.
When you guys were growing up and you guys are twins, and you guys were twins, tell me a moment where you guys were able to work together, push through, and you realize that foundation of that, right? And why it meant so much to you guys. Because I feel like you guys have such a beautiful story of brotherhood and togetherness. Like, you don't even have to tell the whole story to see it. I mean, to hear from your family members, to hear from Beth, to hear from everyone. Like, I've heard from everybody around your family, like how great you two are and how great you guys are as a team, right? But was there a defining moment where you're like, yo, that's my bro and that's the way it is? Or has it always just been like that?
Yeah, for sure, man.
Yeah,
we grew up in Vegas, and unfortunately, our mom passed away at a very young age. So my dad was always at work, and it was really just me and this guy and my little sister. And you grow up fast. There's certain things that you kind of have to take care of yourself. There's a lot of mistakes that we made growing up together that we learned from together. I think that's a big thing, is we grow and learn together. But for sure, growing up together like that, made the biggest difference.
At the same time, I mean, it just brings you so much closer too. Like, you really get to know them a little bit better as well. I mean, this is my twin brother, and like, I'm still learning about him every single day. He's still learning about me, but at the same time, we're able to grow together and elevate each other as well, which helps. I'm so thankful for that, for sure.
Yeah, it's amazing. I know as we're getting older, like, families are more and more apart. They don't really hang out. They don't do the things they're supposed to. I'm sure we see it in our own cultures and holidays and all this. It's kind of like, but when I see you and I see your family and the people I've met, I feel, and I've always felt this when first I met you guys, very at peace, because you can see the energy. You can just feel the comfort level. I think for us I think a lot of like you talk about the things that happened when we were kids. I feel like I came to this country homeless. I don't know if you guys know this, and I came to this country illegal. So like,
oh shit,
yeah. So I didn't get it till I was 15, my citizenship, right?
Damn.
And so
look at you now, bro.
I hear about, but that's what I'm trying to say. I feel like when you're going through all the things that you're going through, and you guys have each other push it through, and the most hardest moments as a child, and even anyone that's young listening to this, those moments, if you can just give it one more day and just share your feelings sometimes, and actually have someone that listens, you'll get through that day, right? Because those days are the most undescribable, unnecessary why days, right? And so when I see you guys and your family and the support, I know that you're what I believe is what I call break the cycle, which means you're breaking the cycle of the continuous crap that other people have taught you, and you yourselves are going to redo it. Like you said, as young men, we made a lot of mistakes because we didn't know any better. Times were different. Not that any of them were correct, but now we're trying to tone and be better human beings to teach that next side. And I see that with you guys, and I see it with the stuff that you guys put on. I see it with Beth, and I see it with PJ, and to me, that is a very powerful thing. And so I love hearing that you guys are so, together and making and being individuals while still being, together. And to me, that's like, I always tell people, like, I'd rather have the Avengers in Justice League than just sitting there on myself in an island like Batman. That's no fun to me. Like, I don't want to be that guy. I want to be the guy that wants to be with each other, and like, we're all making it, right? Because that's where I came from, right? We all watch, Remember the Titans, and everybody makes it together. Like, that's what I believe in. And so I love seeing that with you guys, man. This when you were so young and you have to take care of your sister. Like, I take care of my sister. My dad always worked too, right? And growing up, when you were trying to do that, like, was it extremely difficult to balance that out? And how did you understand the love for your father? Because most of the people, right, when we're young, we start getting resentful towards our dads. Now we got to the point where, like, we got to man up a little bit, right? That type of stupid stuff. Yeah. But you guys did it in such a loving way that you guys grew up as men so quickly. Like, how? Is it just something that you guys knew was right or wrong, or was just because it was talked within your family, or what did you guys do differently?
Yeah, man. You know what? I think with my dad grabbing the bull by the horns and him being such a big part in our lives, I think he kind of set the standard for us a little bit. And I mean, man, he's my superhero for sure because he killed it. Like he did the best with what he had, with what he could. He was at work all day, but he made sure we were eating. He made sure we are okay. He would get us money whenever we needed it. I mean, shout out to my dad, man.
Yeah, and I'll be honest, man. We didn't make it easy on him at
No,
first.
not at all.
Even with my sister, you know, like I mean, siblings fight and stuff like that, but we didn't make it easy on him. We moved from Vegas to Texas to a very small town, which was a huge culture shock for us. And we didn't. I don't think we really appreciated that until a little bit later in high school, like right after high school. Like, man, this guy sacrificed so much for us to be here.
Yeah.
But yeah, we didn't make it easy on him at all.
No, not at all. But
Yeah,
shout out to
I'm proud
Pops.
of you guys, man. I'm proud of you guys, man, for being so young. Most men never recognize that. Most men don't even care to recognize that. It's not important for them to understand what they came from and to understand that it was circumstantial more than wanting. Who the hell wants to live like that?
Right.
Who the hell wants to work that hard? But as young men, we just wanted the love that we saw from TV, right? Like, your last name is Fuentes. My last name is Chen. It wasn't white people love on TV the way I wanted it. I didn't even realize that until my fiance is like, dude, you suffer from white people love from TV and you're Asian. You're not going to get it that way. And I was like, holy shit. Like, right. I was like, yo, what do you mean you're not Full House? What the hell's going on here, man? You know, but what's so beautiful, and I want, even, you know, I say this because as young men who are your guys' age, with your backgrounds, with where you're at, the humility, I think, is what makes me proud to be a Texan, I think, in a lot of ways. But in a lot of ways, it's a kudos to, an homage to you, your mother, your father, because you guys turned out to be good dudes who give a shit.
Thank you.
You know what I mean? And that's where I know the value comes in. And so I think it's important that when you talk about those things and you talk about how it wasn't easy how you're doing that, and explain to other young men that, listen, dude, dads and moms are holding on by a fucking thread.
Yes.
Yeah.
All they want is for you to be able to eat and live. That's all they're begging for. So they don't screw it up because they love you so much. But they sacrifice. They keep quiet.
Exactly.
They hurt. Right? And to see that you guys know that now, man, like, it is a phenomenal thing. And I want to leave it like that because I know we have an hour, but I want to say, like, kudos to you guys, man. I can feel your energy. I can feel your love. I can feel your mission and your passion, your authenticity. I hope you guys keep grinding, keep going on shows, keep blowing this up, because I think that's your story. It's not that you're just twins. It's that you're twins that realized something a lot younger than it took me. It took me probably 5. I'm 43, so it probably took me 5 or 6 or 8 more years to realize what you realized, which I wish I'd realized younger. You know what I mean? And from a small city, you know that we're always shitting on our parents in a small city because it's always their fault that we're in the shitty city. It's boring.
Right.
Why'd you pick here? I don't want to live here. I hate it here. Instead of just saying, man, I am grateful that you came here so I could eat and live and breathe and be a human being. And so kudos to you guys, man. You know, before we wrap up, I definitely want you guys on another call because can you guys give me one piece of advice each for our audience about anything you want to talk about anything in life, just for them, from you? I'll start with you, Adam.
Yeah, man. Starting with me. Okay. My biggest piece of advice would be just go out and do it. Like, that was our whole thing. Like, you know, you see that casting ad or you see that job opportunity, just go do it. Like, the worst thing that happens is that doesn't work out. You try something else. And that's I think the biggest thing I took away from just even being on Squid Games, for sure.
And yourself?
Man, I would definitely have to go. I mean, a lot of people are suffering through like mental issues, and I mean, it's tough for a lot of people. And I know that. And I would always say it's not a hard life, man. It's just a hard day. So keep working, keep striving. There's always going to be something better around the horizon. Everything passes. So whether you have a bad day, it's going to pass. I mean, good days, it's going to pass. You're going to have bad days as well. But just keep grinding, keep working on yourself, and you'll be all right.
That's pretty good. I like
that.
I appreciate you.
I love that, man. There are no bad days, just a bad day for that moment, and you move on. You know, thank you guys for sharing this. This was definitely amazing about your TV show and the progression that you've done and about your life and who you are as human beings. We're truly grateful for you guys for coming in. Now, can you go ahead, although we're going to change the edits on the bottom, can you go ahead and give your social media handle so they can follow you guys?
Yeah, on TikTok, you can follow me at Adam the Twin, or on Instagram, Fuentes_Adam93.
And TikTok for me will be Phil the Twin. What kind of cliche with yours? And then Instagram will be Philip_Fuentes93. Check us out.
I love it. My favorite part is the bio. You guys share each other's names on the bios. That's even better.
Yeah.
Man. So
Dude,
this is the clip. What is this?
Oh,
What is going on here?
Sad.
No.
Tell me what's going on here. We're wrapping up.
You think 10 minutes is a long time?
Tell me about this.
Long.
This is it.
Not my brother.
I'm so close right here. You know? Then you hear 5 seconds on the clock.
I thought you were coming back. I really thought you were going to make it back.
Oh, the feet.
Oh, no. That's so sad. R.I.P. my brother in the show.
R.I.P. All because of the umbrella, man. All because of the umbrella, my friends. Thank you guys so much for joining us.
Okay.
For David Chen and Pandanomics, Phillip and Adam Fuentes, and of course, the great Bit. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you guys next week. Be safe and love yourself. Just give it one more day. It's never as bad as it seems. Good night.
Much love, David.